we are heading east to the town of Rockdale and Lexington, where in the 1920s there was an incident involving Gugwe, and those are Sasquatch or Sasquatch-like creatures that have baboon faces or like canine snouts, and they're quite violent from what I understand. So we're going on a little expedition out there. We will probably just drive around because it's all private property, and you don't want to go on private property around Texas. No, thank you. All right, so we will, as usual, see what we will see. So here we are in Rockdale, and we are going to go south to a little town called Lexington. And this story from the 1920s involved someone dying from the Spanish flu and being buried, and a Gugwe unburied it. And there was several attacks from what I remember. And Sam is... Am I right so far? Okay. And they tried to move to another farm or something, and they were attacked quite brutally. Again, these were Gugwe, which has reported to have a baboon or canine-like snout. So it's a very interesting story. And when we found out that we were coming to Austin to visit my husband's father, Sam wanted to go check it out. So here we are in east of Austin, which is a route we don't normally take. But anyway, so we will be heading south at any time. Okay, now we're on the road to Lexington, and apparently this property of these people was in between Rockdale and Lexington. And as you can see, there are, pretty big trees around this area. I would imagine that a lot of it was unsettled, a lot of prairie land in between trees. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But
some farmland too.
What?
And there was some farmland too.
Yeah, there was probably some farmland, but I'm surely less populated in the 1920s. So, but there are some trees that could cover a large creature like a Gugwe, and they would be less exposed than these days. It's hard to believe anything like that is around here. Although Sam says, and he won't go into detail, that there are some weird things that happens in the east of Austin, but it's not like we can go on anyone's property and do any research. So we're just kind of following the trail. And then the other day we went to a museum in Austin on 6th Street called Museum of the Weird, and we saw all sorts of interesting things, including some Bigfoot stuff, and also the Minnesota Iceman replica, supposedly. That's another completely interesting story. And if you want to find out more about this story, about the Gugwe and this area of Rockdale and Lexington, then go to Paranormal Roundtable, episode number 78. That is an enthralling story. I remember that Sam and I once listened to that. We were listening to that on the way back through like the mountains in Colorado, Cripple Creek and so forth, one of our drives. It was absolutely fascinating and terrifying. So check that out, and also I will have pictures of some of the things that we saw in the Museum of the Weird. And we were almost caught in a very apocalyptic looking rainstorm. There were green skies. It was sickening looking. It was crazy. So I have some pictures of that too. So we will just keep